What's up? What's up, everybody?
How
Oh
are you,
my
man?
goodness. I'm good. How are you?
This is the
Awesome.
extension of the Bharat Army right here.
They came up with some great songs. I was watching that on Instagram.
Yes, yes.
Great songs, great week, fantastic win, shocking win for me personally. We have so much to talk about. Welcome to the second test post-match show, India England series, Anderson-Tendulkar series. Gentlemen, let's start with Ojesh. Give me some initial thoughts. I'm sure you have so many.
Well, I'm very happy that we breached a fortress. I'm just waiting for many more to be breached in the future. I was surprised that we'd never won here before. And it took Ben Stokes, his famous innings in the Ashes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This was something similar, but by the whole team. Completely unexpected, back to the wall, and win out of nowhere. I was actually prepared for us to draw this with the team selection, especially with the bowling group that we went in with and the conditions. But we played out of our skins, man. This is incredible beyond words. So thrilled.
Agreed. Father.
So yeah, it's definitely, I remember, I don't think you guys were even born. 1971 was the first taste of success when Chandrasekhar took 6 for 38.
Yep.
His first win with Vadekar being the captain. So my memories go back. I think that the background we have is perfect for a test match post game episode. And I just have to make a comment that background on the baseball and England have some explanation to do. But this was outstandingly amazing test with fluctuating fortunes, especially breaking the 300 run partnership was is the key. But of course, there were so many moments which are going to be etched in our memory for a long time.
100%. I think that for me, this test is up there for one of the most like important results because we have been so bad in the last year in the red ball format. And the fact that we didn't have Bumrah, the fact that we're in England, the fact that nobody really expected us to win this match, except for a few, um, and the team selection. So let's get right into the team selection. I'm gonna give my opinion first because I'll eat the crow first. I did not like the team selection before the match because of what you said, Ojesh. The batting was like down to number 8. That's awesome, but when you look at the flat pitch and you have, at that point in time, I thought Siraj and others in the bowling attack, I thought it was going to be a long test, long test. I was very happy to be proven wrong. That's another reason why I thought this was such a shocking result because it seemed like they were picking a T20 team where you wanted depth in both departments. Now, we'll get into what happened in the test specifically, but what did you guys make of the team selection before the match started?
Go ahead, Vidya.
I actually personally did not have any major problems with the team because I think the key was for them not to have another lower order collapse. I think that was the main focus. They didn't want to go for a win because they knew that this was a batting wicket. So how do you prevent from losing? I think in one of the major things in Test cricket is even drawing the test is an art. We'll come to that in the fourth innings of England. So I didn't have major problem with the team selection. I'm very disappointed, obviously, with Prasidh, so he'll be out. It makes it easier for Bumrah to come in. But other than that, I think they just said, okay, we're not going to lose this test. Is I think the way they went about it.
Makes sense in hindsight. What say you, Ojish?
Yeah, I agree. It was super, super defensive. I think the conditions played into our hand. You know how many commentators and even Ben Stokes, he talked about, oh, these look like subcontinental conditions. Duh, you should have you know your curators, you know your weather. You should it should have been horses for courses for them. But I think
Agreed.
he's trying. He's he's not he's not being fair. But I think I still would have liked Kuldeep
Me
in
too.
there. But again, the tail would have been long,
Instead of
and
who?
instead of Sundar, and Washi, I think he played a good knock of 40 odd. So I
Yeah.
think he did well. But again, both our spinners were very, very ineffective.
Yeah.
There was no turn. And Kuldeep, I think he just plays mind games with all of these people. You saw how Ben Stokes was all at sea. So I
Yeah,
Yeah.
think he could have made a difference. But I think now I think we have a lot more choices. But I
Yeah.
think, listen, hindsight is 2020. We're all
yeah,
happy with the result. But in the first test, like if back in the days we used to have two pacers and two quality spinners.
yeah,
If Bumrah is the only guy who's playing well, and Siraj is not playing well, then there's only one person now, and we got bailed out. Both our pacers made very good use of the conditions. Without it, it would have been real hard. I think we didn't get anything from the spinners and obviously from Prasid. So, and I didn't like the Prasid selection to begin with.
yes, yes. Overall, I agree with the Kuldeep point. I doubly agree with the Ben Stokes point. That guy just cries every time he loses. There's something new. This subcontinent comment actually especially irritated me because um, if he comes to India and the subcontinent pitches are made such a way, he complains. If the match is his own backyard and the conditions are too flat, he complains. I mean, no matter what happens, he complains. When he gets out, he complains. It's like a shock if he ever gets out. He's like, "Oh, this is impossible that I could get out." He did that a couple times with Bumrah when they came to India,
I
and
remember that.
he
Yeah.
just did that now. It's almost like I'm too good to get out. How dare you give me out? How dare the ball move? How dare a bowler get me out? He just irritates me to no end. So now let's get into how we gave it to England. They win the toss, they put us into bat. I was very surprised they put us into bat. Going back to your point, Ojish, knowing the conditions, knowing it's going to be flat, 30 plus degrees Celsius weather, I thought that was an easy bat first decision. When they said, India, you have a bat, I was very happy. And we had a little bit of a wobble in the first hour. A few DRSs went our way. Ultimately, we had an overall good first two sessions, but then we slumped to 211 for five. So that's the first checkpoint I want to start with. What were you thinking at that point? 211 for five.
I thought we are gonna do like we're gonna give it back. Honestly, in the moment, it's very hard to be positive. You want to be proven wrong, but I thought we are gonna do like a middling score, like a barely 400, 350 to 400 is what I was thinking.
You were thinking the same, Dad?
211 for five. It was just comments like, "Oh, here we go again." That's the standard. Here we go again. Yeah, I think he got carried away. Ben Stokes got carried away with the fact that even the first test he chose to field and then he got away with the win. So it kind of a little bit of overconfidence, I believe. One. The second point was that when is the last time you've seen that they actually reduced the boundary ropes to aid more runs? Have you heard of
Yeah.
that?
No, not in a
No,
test match.
no one's ever confessed to it. At
Yes.
least.
I mean, I've never heard of that. I mean, getting your pitch curator to say,
He
"Hey, do this, do that, roll over, do this grease, grand grease." I've never heard of
exactly.
this. Reducing
Yeah.
the. That's why when we scored, even though we scored 587, I was like, whatever, okay,
It's it's so rich of Stokes. Like he asks for it and then
yeah,
he complains about it.
yeah,
Yes, that's vintage him. He has the most obvious victim complex I've ever seen from any
yeah,
captain since I've been following Test cricket. But at 211 for five, I was thinking two things. One, here we go again. Yes, Dad. Two, but this goes back to your point about the selection. The lower order had some batting left. So
Mhm.
Jardu was in the shed. He played great in the first
He
innings.
did play really good.
Sundar played great in the first
Yeah,
innings. And then we got to talk about our personal star boy, Shubman Gill. Wow. I mean, what else is there to say other than spectacular innings? You go ahead.
yeah.
I was counting. I think I counted in the first two innings in the first test, the bottom three or the bottom four made less than 10.
Okay.
In the third innings or in the first innings of the second test, they made more than 10. So you can't
Great team selection.
I was so desperate for them to come good.
No, the tail more than wagged. So, but the tail couldn't have wagged without
Yeah,
Shubman Gill's brilliance, really. So I think it's pretty safe to say now that the baton has been passed. It's his team now, and in I think anybody, however much you can grow in stature in one test, he just did it. I mean, what a performance from him!
amazing.
Just terrific.
I mean, the number of records he's broken, and the biggest one is well within sights. He's about 300 odd
Yeah,
runs shy of Bradman. That will be come on, get close to it. Let
yeah,
Bradman be number two on that list. That is phenomenal for someone who had no record outside of subcontinent, and it's I told you, right? Let him score, have a good score in the first inning, in the first test, one, and he should be off and running. But this is beyond even my wildest imaginations. And I think the English weather and the English think tank, I think they just handed it out to him on a platter. It's
Yeah,
these conditions, he's just gonna bat in his sleep.
yeah.
And he was hungry. He was
he was
very
hungry.
greedy, and I love that about it.
I
He
want to
needs
give
to get past Gavaskar first, 774.
Yes, that
770.
I think that's a
Wait,
very, very high bar, like
what's the
versus the
Gavaskar
West Indies.
774?
Gavaskar, 5 tests against West Indies, highest scorer in a test series, 774 for
Okay.
India. Broadman is, obviously much higher and is nine.
974 or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
Oh,
I think he has a great chance to get across Gavaskar.
Gavaskar, yes.
me too. Me too. Me too. Um, I want to give you credit also, Otis. You did predict a good to great, really, series for Shubman Gill with the bat. I know we highlighted it in the series preview. I told
Thank
you
you.
I am a realist, and some might say it's pessimistic, but I put up his record in England, in Sana, contrasted it with his home record. Coming into the series, there was nothing to write home about for Gill. He has corrected that and flipped it on its head through two tests. Major respect to him. Outstanding performance. We put
Yeah.
up 587. Honestly, like I thought the same as dad. Like it's so flat. They're gonna bat 2 days. Blah blah blah. But they, in their baseball ego self, slumped to 77 for three and then 84 for five on the morning of the third day. At that point, I'm thinking we can't possibly lose from here. I mean, we only need 15 more wickets, and there's half the test match left. And I'm thinking follow on. I'm thinking humiliation, and then the 300 run partnership comes on. What was going through your head during that 300 run partnership between Brooke and Jamie Smith?
I fear Brook. Like the way he started his career in Pakistan, and he's played a few. He didn't do well in India, but everywhere else, I think he's the next Joe Root for those guys. So I expected a daddy 100 from him, fine. Jamie Smith is like, I think he played really, really well. I don't know. I didn't watch, so I don't know whether it was chanceless or whether we dropped anything. I don't think we dropped anything. So I think both, it was like twin lightning
Yeah,
at the same time. But kudos to them. They just showed the rest of the team entirely. I think they had what, five or six ducks. That
yeah,
means,
Six, six. I
yeah,
got the greatest statistics when you guys are done about
yeah.
England and
If
the
if
Ducks.
if six people can break the duck and two of them make 150 plus, that means the conditions were there. They just had to apply.
yeah,
And they just played baseball. I think they chanced themselves.
yeah. I agree with that. Show us the records, Dad.
So let me give my comments and I'll tell you the record, which is we had the record of 5 centuries and then we still lost the first test. But this is another record England has made. Combined, both women and men, England has become the first team in first class history. Forget the test, forget ODI, forget T20, which contains 60,000 matches and more than 200,000 innings with 6 ducks and 250 plus scores in the same innings.
Wow,
Wow.
that's unbelievable.
So that's in the baseball era. We actually literally broke their back. It's their own undoing, but hey, I'm going to take and run with it.
That
Exactly. And it's against India. It's even better.
Yeah, it's even better. Absolutely better. Yes.
that's an unbelievable stat. I think that, I'll give some credit to Basball here. At 84 for 5, you have Harry Brook charging down the wicket, hitting people over extra cover for 6. Like absolutely, they just no fear of losing or falling further. They never went into their shell. Jamie Smith, man,
He,
he's like a psycho. That's a compliment. That
Yes.
he just doesn't see situation, time, score, match situation. He doesn't care if the ball's there to be hit. He's gonna hit it. So that was a really threatening partnership when it was going on, especially towards the last 100 runs. I was thinking we can actually still lose from here because they were scoring so fast.
Yes.
Uh, but then finally we got the second new ball, and Siraj bowls a wonderful spell. He wraps up the tail. They have a lower order collapse. They only score like 10 or 20 runs for the last 5 or 6 wickets, and we take a big fat 180 run lead into the third innings. I don't think we need to spend much time on the third innings. I think we were all pretty relaxed. But what did you make of the timing of the declaration, Ojish?
I, I'll say a couple of things before I answer that question. One, I was pleasantly surprised with the way we came out of the gates uh, after getting a 180 lead. We were scoring close to run a ball. That
True.
showed intent. I was very, very happy with that positive intent, the way we closed the day. The second thing I'll say, and you'll have to remind me the question is, these people they talk about baseball being like a newer version, like smart baseball, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are making it worse. They're playing so fast and they're putting up puttas, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and they're basically not giving their bowlers any recovery time. They're gonna
Oh,
grind all their bowlers into the dust. They did that here, and I don't know how many people they're gonna have standing at the end of, let's say, the fourth test match. This plays into the hand of strong teams like us, and we've exposed them for the ashes. Wait and watch what the Aussies, especially the bowlers, do to them.
so
It's gonna be fun.
let me follow up that. I think that the question I asked leads into your point. But the question is, what did you make of the timing of the declaration in the third innings?
We were going back and forth on text, right? And
Yes.
yes, I was pulling whatever little hair I have left, but I think the think tank were very confident about exactly how many overs they wanted to bowl, and they timed it perfectly, I think. I love the Steve Waugh ruthless mindset when it comes to Test cricket, especially against top opponents, and you have to grind them into the dust. 600 is psychological. They've come out and said, "Oh, throw us 500, throw us 550." 600 was psychological, and I
Interesting.
think I think we did really well.
Wow. Dad?
So yeah, timing of the declaration, I was really not happy with the fact that we kind of, 525, 550, we kept, I said, okay, mark my words, the declaration is coming. It didn't come. I think they did not want to give any chance, zero chance for baseball, which actually worked in the end in our favor, which of course is a retrospect. But if they were, I remember I told you 467 for 4 and the match was a draw. We would have been asking a lot of questions. Why didn't we declare too soon? So that would have been there. I think the best thing is in a test match, don't lose. I think the first test, we just didn't do a good job here. They were hell bent on making sure England has a zero, close to zero chance of winning. And then England prides themselves on the baseball. And then they said, okay, here's your
Yeah.
target. I would have been okay with 550. 600 is a little bit extra. And then if you lose overs, we did lose 10 overs from the rain. So in the end, it didn't matter. The bottom line is that the declaration could have come earlier, but again, obviously there's a think tank
Yeah.
out there. For common fans, for us, we were just literally pulling our hair like, Jaddu, what are you doing, Jadeja? Come on.
The
Yeah,
I
Listen,
th-
we decided we made sure we would not lose,
correct,
and baseball made sure that they would not draw.
correct. Yeah, no,
That
that's
is well said,
that's
actually. That's
absolutely
really
correct.
well said.
Yes,
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 yes. I think the timing of the declaration is a combination then of both your points. One is there must have been some of that, I'm gonna grind you down. You're gonna sit out here and you're gonna bowl an extra 20 overs, and we're gonna smack you to the moon over and over again. With the short break in mind, also, I'll add that point. There's only 3 days between this test and the
Yep.
next test, as compared to between the first test and the second test. There was so much time. So you make them bowl longer, you tire them out, you drain them mentally for when they come out to bat. Maybe they make a few mistakes, which they did late on the fourth day.
yeah. Even after the first innings, they made mistakes. After 150 overs on the ground, they just came and gave away 3 wickets for
Yep.
us.
Everything.
Yep. So you want to grind them. You want to grind their bowlers. You want to make their batsmen tired. 600 is out of reach even for baseball. And their egotistical batting is, I think, something that the think tank also banked on. That like, oh, they think they're so amazing that they're gonna try and make a fist of 600. They're gonna give us a few wickets. So in the end, I guess the declaration was perfect. But in the moment, I was like, dude, we're
Yeah.
wasting an hour with rain the next day and maybe bad light. We saw a little of that towards the end of
Yeah.
day 5 also.
I,
So
I last point on that. I was fine with it because what's the worst that would have happened? We would have drawn.
draw. No,
Yeah.
But
but
we've
in
got
that
Bumrah coming.
situation, I wanted to win. With a 500 lead, you got to win. You know what I mean? Like a whole day to play,
Yeah,
you're up by
but these
500.
yeah, but these people are not just Jamie Smith. All of them are individually and collectively psychos, right? They
Yes.
they just they march to a beat and 500 like on the last day. Yeah, they've done it in Pakistan on day one. Last day it is hard, but yeah, I didn't want to give them any chances.
Fair.
The
Fair.
day 5 was a beating retreating at Buckingham Palace.
Oh, I like that.
Well
So
put. Well
let's
put.
let's talk about day 5. There's a lot to say about one specific bowler, and I'm really happy for him because I learned more about his story after the match. Akash Deep, I mean, wow, the guy's 28 years old. I was familiar with him because actually, I'm gonna do a little tiny plug here. RCB did pick
That's
him
it.
last year
Yes, correct.
and give him a chance, and he was actually pretty good last year in the few matches that he played. But he breaks into the test team. He has a great back-to-back Ranji season for Bengal, and then he bursts onto the scene in a few of the home India tests against England. Does well, but even with those off-on performances here and there, I was shocked to see him picked in the 11 in the first place. We had all said Arshdeep was the next guy in, when Bumrah was rested. So he gets picked. One thing I love about him is that he's perfect for English conditions. He always pitches the ball up. Another thing
Yep.
that I like about him, he got insane movement. He's the only bowler, you made this point, that got any swing or seam movement from that feather bed.
Take all the bowlers in
I
this
think
set. He's the only
yeah.
guy.
Wasn't the swing like 0.7 versus like we did 1.3, 1.4
Yeah,
versus 0.7, something like
yeah,
that.
double. And it was
Double.
all because of him. And what a spell to produce late on day 4. He comes back and he ends up getting the last wicket on day 5, which gives him 10 for the match. What a story, what a performance. I'm so happy for stories like that or performances like that. Say a few words about Akash Deep. He deserves it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vidya. I'll fill in.
I think they must have seen something in the nets to take him over Arshdeep. Obviously, Arshdeep is also up and coming. I completely agree with you. He also was in Australia, as you know, and then
Oh, yeah.
he was doing well in Australian series, and then he got injured, and then that put him back. And he was literally a backup fast bowler for the pace battery, which was depleted. When Shami was not available because of injury concerns. So I think to grab the opportunity, and then now he's just going to be indispensable part of the pace battery for the rest of the English series, which is, Lords. They're looking for some different pitch, and
Go
I
ahead.
think this is going to be a great matchup with Bumrah coming back. I think full credit to Akash Deep. The guy just kept it very simple. As you said, line and length, pitch it up, got the seam moment, which nobody else got, I think. Amazing performance, and it's kind of just, hero from out of nowhere to win this edging out in Edgbaston.
Yeah, completely agree. I'll say a couple of things. One is, um, in Australia, I personally was impressed with him, but I heard someone say, and it made sense that in Australia, he didn't he didn't have the right line. I think he was bowling the fourth and the fifth stump. Here, with this swing that he was getting in, I think he was making batsmen play a lot more here. So I was very, very happy. Like the backstory is like there's pound for pound, there's so much talent in India. And it's not
Yep.
just talent. People like do hard work just for the love of the game. And this is someone who deserves it in spades. So
Yes.
very,
Yep.
very happy for him. Second thing, have to say things about Siraj.
Yes.
Ex-RCB, current,
DSP.
current GT, Kershibai. You
Yes.
have a good bowler.
Oh yeah.
Simply because he's the leader of the pack. Apparently, people thought he was the only bowler we're gonna have in the test match, and he delivered. And
He did.
he is like the horse that keeps going, and I love his spirit. And I'm
Yeah.
very happy to see him being rewarded for good bowling. I think he did well in the first test match too, but super happy for him too.
Yes. And the
Well
catch he
said.
took in the second innings
Oh yeah. Unbelievable.
for a
Yeah,
fast
Unbelievable.
bowler, this is really good.
A couple things about Siraj. I think he's one of those characters that makes the game fun,
Yeah.
and he has a vibrant personality that I think he got criticized for early on because of his over aggression, and he would get taken for runs but then still show the aggression, so his performance was not backing up the talk. Now I think he's more established, he's more comfortable in his own skin, and he's been around for some time, and I think he has a better balance of showing aggression, but also timing it with when he gets the results. So I think he's getting a lot more well-deserved adoration because of that. And he, like, I don't think that he gets enough credit in this setup. Obviously, because of Bumrah, he's the best bowler in the world. But Siraj is, I think, an invaluable piece of the attack that kind of is the energizer bunny and makes things go, especially in the red ball format. So very, very happy for him. 7 wickets for him. 17 of the 20 taken by two bowlers. So we
by two
did
people.
get, you could argue we did get bailed out by the team selection. But hey,
Yeah,
all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
exactly.
I
We are not
think
complaining.
not at all. I think if we're going to remember two things from this match, obviously it's Shubman Gill's 269. But for me personally, the Akash Deep ball to Joe Root in the second innings was
That was
Yep.
awesome.
another thing. So
Couldn't disagree.
let's oh, you want to say
But
one?
there's one
Yeah.
other key point I wanted to make, which I think actually turned the tables for India to save the test match first and then go on to win, was they scored 172 in one session.
Yeah.
After that, you thought they were going to score 750, and then India is going to collapse at 150 or 180 or 200, and they're going to score it. Post lunch session, they changed the strategy from bowling short pitch, short pitch, short pitch to outside the off stump to third and fourth line stump bowling. Everybody stuck to that, which actually frustrated the English batsman, specifically Harry Brook.
Yeah.
And actually showed the Sri Lankans resorting to the same strategy a few years ago. Eventually it came, but I'm glad it came because even though they scored another 80, 90 runs, but the run rate was much, much lower. They were going at 3 versus 6.
Yeah.
And then eventually the frustration kept in and the new ball, and then the rest is history, and then the collapse. But I think that's the time when we actually saved the test and then went on to to win the test.
That's actually a subtle change that I think was missed because the way they were going, you thought they were gonna clean out the deficit on day three itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I seriously
was,
thought they could. Yeah.
so well done to the think tank and the captaincy for changing that up on the post lunch session of day three. Let's
Can we give like say a few nice words about Gautam Gambhir just because of the result?
You can
right?
start, and
He
I'll add on.
early indications he's presided over a couple of bad series, but I think uh, just as you mentioned, you like Mia for his aggression. I think Gautam Gambhir is I think behind closed doors. He's very aggressive with the players. I think he's playing baseball without mentioning it. I think he is trying to get the most of what from the players that he has, and I think uh, some players are gonna say good things about him at the end of the series. But I'm very happy with how he marshaled his resources.
Here's what I'll say about Gambhir. I have very simple rules in life, sports life. If you win, you get to talk. You know what? If you lose, you take it on the chin, zip it until the results are produced. Gautam Gambhir in white ball has a Champions Trophy under his belt. I think he's established. He knows what he's doing in the white ball format. He's been terrible in the red ball format before this test. That's a fact. We've only beaten Bangladesh in the last calendar year. We won one test in Australia, lost 7 or 8. This test was such a big deal to me because it's something where I look at Gambhir and I'm like, maybe you did know what you were doing with the team selection. Maybe you did make the right call with Shubman Gill as captain, which was criticized by a lot of people. And so I do give major respect to Gambhir for this test. As a whole, though, I want to see more from Gambhir
Fair enough.
for
Fair
for
enough.
the rest of the series
At
because
at
of what he talks a lot, man. He talks like he had already won the World Test Championship. So let's see. That's all.
No,
That's my
it's
point.
I'm not going ahead of where we are, but after the 36 all out in Australia, right?
Yeah,
Shastri he put Rahane and got the best out of the team.
yeah.
Yep.
This guy's done something similar. I hope he emulates Shastri and wins the series for us.
For
Yep.
that point, that type of parallel, Rahane and Gill
Yep.
decision for this test, he gets full credit. Well done,
Yeah.
Gambhir.
But start from zero and do it all over again in the next three tests.
Hopefully.
Yes. Yeah.
Before we get there, let's have some fun as we wrap up this episode here. Give me 1 second. I am gonna pull some fun data points here. And can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Stats Guru Mohandas Menon. This is the first tweet that I pulled up. That I saw read hundreds of them after the match, but India becomes the first Asian country to win a test in Edgbaston in 19 attempts. Unbelievable. And India's 337 run margin of victory is their biggest ever in a away test match. So not only do you break the jinx, you hammer them to break the jinx. Unreal stat there that really popped out to me. I don't know if you guys saw this. Umesh Yadav in 2018 was the last time an Indian fast bowler took 10 wickets in a test match. Not Bumrah, not Siraj, Umesh Yadav 7 years ago. So that is a testament to Akash Deep's performance. And this is the sappiness in me. I pulled up Virat Kohli's Instagram post from Test retirement and I circled he's number 269 test cap, Indian test cap, and Gill scored 269 in the first innings. I mean, that stuff you can't make up. Let's open it up here for what you guys were saying. This is just England tours, not overall tours. England tours. Shubman Gill is going to shatter the record for most Indian batsmen runs in a single test series in England. He's already at 585. Dravid scored 602. Kohli's at 593. So with 3 more tests, you got to assume he's going to go way past that. 774 is the most runs by an Indian in any test series, Gavaskar. And I can't remember. I think it's 974 or 973 most runs in a single test series by anyone ever, which is Bradman. Look, he can reach Bradman. I mean, it's on. If he has another couple centuries, look out. So I'm really excited to see what happens with him the next 3 tests with the bat. And this is to dig Ben Stokes a little bit because he's so dislikable. Shubman Gill scored 397 runs more than Ben Stokes in this test, which is the biggest difference in runs between two opposing captains in test match. So Ben, talk less, maybe bat better. That's what I'll say to that. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah. I look, I understand what you're saying about Ben Stokes, but you have to give credit when it is due.
It's not due right now.
No. Not in this aspect. In general, we're talking about Test series commitment to Test cricket in 2025 is a thing.
Okay.
So I think just like Virat Kohli was committed to Test cricket in India and then changed the whole scenery behind Test cricket, I'm glad that we have WTC. Otherwise, Test cricket, if is a very unique format now, and you have to give credit to Ben Stokes for at least being committed to that part. Is what I'm trying to say.
I do give him that credit. I
Yeah.
just wish he whined less because when Kohli was the captain, Shastri was the captain, there's zero whining policy by both of them, and Stokes is the complete opposite. So I agree. He's committed to
150
Test
overs
cricket.
on the field. You have to-
I actually wish in 3 weeks' time he keeps whining more and more.
Yeah,
hope-
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So do I, actually. Let's make him whine, I guess,
Exactly.
is the last thing. I think that's a great point to end on. Thank you guys. This was awesome. What an extraordinary victory that we just had. And there's a short turnaround for the third test. We'll see you for the Lord's Test match preview here in a few days.
Wonderful.
Take it easy,
Thank you, guys.
Jai
Thank
Hind.
you. Bye bye.
Jai
Jai
Hind.
Hind. Jai Hind.
Bye.
Bye bye.